people. This is Ashley with Music After Dark, HTX. So very cool, different location. I love the fact that this is like a traveling podcast, and I get to go to people. Makes it super fun. This is hopefully my new friend. I've bumped into him. I think I've seen him like twice, maybe out in the world, maybe more than that. And I didn't know it, or we didn't know it. So it's probably actually been more than that. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. And you are?
My name is Rick Stuart.
Rick Stuart.
I am
love it.
A local here in the scene.
And what bands are you in? Because we were talking before, and you have a lot of projects going on. So, is there like a main one? Maybe do you think you're?
Well, my main one is my original project, Zombie Face, but
Okay.
that one's it's been on ice for almost a year now. But I'm working on bringing that one back. I'm in a.
He's being modest. Things are happening. We're just not allowed to talk about them on the podcast.
Yeah, but
things are happening.
But it has been almost a year. But by the time it comes back, it will have been a year. So I took a year off. But I'm also in a ghost tribute band named Spiritus. I'm in a System of a Down tribute band named Victims of a System, and I'm in a Seether tribute named Fake It.
I know. Okay, so we're gonna have to. I want to crop some of this and do like a reel or something, because you'll be performing next Wednesday.
Yes, next Wednesday at Scout Bar.
It's Scout Bar for a Punk Star radio show happening on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
happening on a Wednesday. Chris.
They try to get it on a Thursday.
I don't understand.
They try to get it on a Thursday. It didn't work out, and so they got it on Wednesday.
Now I have to look and see what the fuck they're doing on a Thursday, because Wednesdays. So Wednesday, Punk Star Radio, Scout Bar. It's gonna be you and who else? Is it anybody else on the bill?
Yeah, it's a band called I think they're called To the Stars. They're a tribute to Blink-182 and some other bands, but I forgot the other ones. I'm sorry.
I love it. No, it's okay, because I don't even know, and I'm a vendor, so shame on me too, because I don't know either. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
You gonna try to make it out?
I'm vending that night.
Oh, you are vending that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, you're with the NYX Treasures.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's like my main business, I guess. Like I should probably start putting that logo on everything, really, because that's how I know all of you guys.
Right.
It's because I've like kind of bumped into you guys at shows, and that's really what got me to start this podcast.
Cool.
Is I was like, wait, I went to all these shows. I really don't know anything about any of them. Like.
This is like a journey of self.
Let's give him a platform and let him talk. Okay, so you're in that band. You have a show next week.
That's for the Seether tribute. Yeah.
For the Seether tribute.
Right.
And is that it?
No, I have several shows coming up.
Okay.
I mean, off the top of my head. I mean, because if they're watching this on YouTube, it's pretty much like in the past, right? So.
So do you have any shows in October or November?
Yes, October 13th. My Ghost tribute and the Seether tribute are playing at Warehouse Live
at the same time.
Oh yeah, well, one after the other.
No, well, yeah, I mean, but like, so how does that work? You go from like one to the other?
Oh yeah. I gotta, as soon as I'm finished with Fake It, run backstage and get dressed and come back out in Spiritus.
How does that work?
I just one time I played a show where all three of my tributes played, and that was exhausting. So and I had to make sure that System of a Down was the last one, because if I try to do System of a Down before Ghost, I put my voice out, and that's happened before too.
Has it?
Yeah, I couldn't sing, and I told the crowd, I'm sorry, I can't finish the show, and it was like the first song because my voice went out because the set before was the System of a Down one, and I was, for those of you that have heard System of a Down,
right?
It's very very vocally intense.
Yes, it is for sure.
And Ghost is not.
No, it's not. Do you get in like character and stuff and dress up for each one of these?
Well,
because
System and Seether, they don't really have an image per se.
They
like,
don't. It's just
I guess with System of a Down, I kind of got the beard thing going, and then with Seether, I got the flannel shit. But this is just me, With Spiritus, yes, it's a whole character. It's a whole thing. I have to pretend to be Italian. It's a lot of fun, but also it's supposed to be a secret that it's me. So. Don't say anything. Tell your viewers not to say anything. I'm just the manager. I'm not in the band itself. I'm just the manager.
Just the manager. That's it. He's just the manager. I love that. How Dude, how in the hell, pardon my French, not really, but okay, how do you balance? I mean, I know they're covers, so it's stuff that you probably like know, right? You've done it for so long. Like, how long have you been? Okay, Zombie Face, we'll pick that one. How
Okay.
long have you been in that band? Like, when did you guys start it?
Okay, so Zombie Face, I started it back in 2017.
Okay.
So Zombie Face is my longest running project. It's I've had like at this point like 10 members come and go. So it's always kind of been like I don't want to I don't want to say a revolving door of members because that's kind of an ugly way to put it. But I've had like the main person being me is I'm the one that's been in it from the beginning because I'm the one that started it. And
But that happens. I
no,
mean,
I
people
know.
come and go. There's been other bands that have had a bunch of people come through too.
No, I know. Like, but I started it back in 2017, so we're going on 7 years with that one.
How did COVID kind of?
Actually, COVID was like a blessing in disguise for us because when everybody was kind of like, I know it sounds irresponsible. It sounds irresponsible as hell, but when everybody was home quarantining or whatever, we were still playing shows and we still had people come out. So we were one of the few bands that were still playing shows, and we got love for it and we got hate for it. So
yeah, no, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. There was some people that were like snitching to the cops that hey, they're playing shows. Oh man, that's so unmetal
Instead
of you.
Being like they're doing drugs, it's like they're playing music during quarantine.
They're breathing aggressively.
They're not social distancing.
Oh god, that was the buzzword of the year, man. It seems so surreal that we went through something like that.
Yeah, that was crazy. And definitely I think affected the music scene, right? Do you think it probably had ripple effects, right? And I asked that because this year we've had several venues close.
Yeah.
Me being a vendor at a bunch of shows, I've noticed it doesn't seem as many people are going out to shows, and I don't know if that's a social media thing or what do you think it is? Like, do you think COVID still kind of is rippling through and having effects maybe?
I think the whole COVID experience was so traumatic for some people that they're still like, even though they have the green light, they're still like, nah, I'm not taking my chances. But these are the same people that they still have to go to the grocery store. They still have to, life goes on, and the fact that we had to hunker down for so long, it traumatized some people, and some people, like some businesses, never recover. And some people had it worse than others. I know personally like 2 or 3 friends of mine that died from it. It was a real, very real thing. And some people are still scared of it, and that's fine. I'm not, telling people to go against what their comfort, right? But I still see shows that are packed, to this day. So I'd like to think the music scene is slowly recovering, but we had some casualties along the way, unfortunately, and not just necessarily people, but we lost Acadia, we lost Concert Pub, we lost Fitz. Fitz was before COVID, I believe, and we what else?
But still sad.
No,
it was
terrible.
Still
Yeah.
sad.
That's where I played my first show.
Really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
Were you at the Fitzgerald reunion that they had?
No.
Okay.
No, but see that was I played that show with my first band. It was an alternative punk. Well, not punk. I'm sorry, an alternative rock band called Mannequin on the Moon. That's when I was first in the scene, first getting my feet wet or whatever. And our first show was at Fitzgerald's.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool. Okay, so if it's not COVID, why do you think venues are closing?
Just sales, I would think. I mean, with Acadia, I don't have any insider info or anything, but I know that Sam, the owner, he like renovated it and he put in badass couches, TVs, everything was nice, but I feel like the expenses outweighed the profits.
Yeah.
And then eventually with the cost of living skyrocketing, which is a whole nother
bag
of worms.
That's a whole other podcast.
We're not gonna get into economics here, but with the land, cost of land and rent going up, and them having to increase whatever their prices, it's just smaller businesses like that, they don't survive.
So, and that's okay. So here's my thing: like smaller businesses are struggling. I'm sure bigger businesses too. Yeah. I mean, Warehouse Live converted over to Rise or whatever.
Yeah, but that was for a separate reason. That was because that's because they're expanding I-45.
So is it? I didn't know.
So all of that had to.
I never knew that. I was just like, wait, why are they moving?
Yeah.
Surprise.
That was another one of my favorite venues. Is the I guess the original Warehouse Live.
Yeah,
I
the
love playing
OG.
there.
I saw Jelly Roll there in
Yeah.
the small room.
Oh, the small room. I've played the small room. I've played the big room. It's a lot of fun.
Crazy. Yeah, that was an iconic place for sure.
Yeah, but it's you know how Houston, they take their time with their freeways. So,
Yeah, that's true. I moved away for 4 years, and there's still parts of like 290 when I came
yeah.
back that I was like, seriously, you guys still are like, you're not done yet?
Well, because they're under this contract, which I mean, allegedly they're under the contract where they work until they're finished. They don't have a deadline. So when they finish, they're out of a job. So why the hell would they finish? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Story. That's probably what it is. It's a never-ending story. Shit, that actually sounds legit. That sounds like some shit Houston would do, though. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know.
So how did you like get started in the music scene? So are you from Houston?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a Houstonian. Growing up, were you like, man, when I grow up, I want to be a rock star? Or
surprisingly, no.
Okay.
When I was a teenager is when I used to listen to a lot of hip hop. Like that was it. Eminem, really. I wasn't really too into music, but every summer I would spend my vacation in Mexico with my family, and the only thing that there was to watch out there was MTV. So I watched a lot of Headbangers Ball and stuff like that. And the first
when they still had music on MTV?
when they still had music. So back then, I remember exactly that summer they had the music videos that were on heavy rotation were like Bon Jovi, "It's My Life," Metallica, "I Disappear." What else? Like some Guns N' So that summer, I was listening to like Metallica and stuff like that, and then I asked my uncle to burn me a CD. That's how long ago it was, with just with a bunch of Eminem songs, right? So he did, and then at the end, because my uncle was a heavy metal guy, and at the end he added "Spiders and Sugar" by System of a Down.
Really?
Yeah, and when I got to those songs, I was like, first one was Spiders. It's very slow and calm, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And then when the song kicks in, it just punched me in the chest. Like, I think I was like 12 or so. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And then I heard Sugar, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like right now,
that's when you.
That's when it hit. Yeah, that's when I knew like this is exactly what I want to do. I wanted to sing, right? So I would that when school started again, me and my friends would jam out to System of a Down songs, and I would sing. And it's not till a year later that I started playing. I picked up guitar because that same uncle got me a guitar for Christmas, but.
So you taught yourself how to play?
Yeah. Because for a while it just sat there because I didn't have a teacher. So I was like, "What's the point?" But then when I picked it up and I started playing, and it took me a while to get comfortable enough, and I mean like 10 years, dude. Because when I was I believe I was 24 or 26. That's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna join a band, and I looked through Craigslist and I found that Mannequin on the Moon, and I've been trucking ever since. That was
Craigslist.
2014.
I love it. Craigslist did some good once upon a time.
Once upon a time. Yeah. Well, because I started, it was with this girl who's she's in a local band, a local musician called her name's Eliza, and she's in a band called Horizon Shift. Shout out to her. She's the one that she was the singer of Mannequin on the Moon, and she's the one that gave me a chance. She but back then I took not that I don't now, but I took music very, very serious. So when they asked me to come in for an audition, that day I learned all of their songs on guitar because I was so nervous, and I played it perfectly, and I got the part, right? And then over time, my confidence grew, and I became more, the guy I am now.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
So you started in that band, and then how did you get into the one you're in now, Zombie Face? Because that's your main project, right? So how did you start that?
I wanted to kind of branch out a bit, and because with Mannequin on the Moon, as important as I was to that band, it was her band, right? So I liked that idea of being a frontman, right? Actually, no, that's not true because I wasn't a frontman for a while. I wanted to do a separate project, but heavier, because we didn't really do heavy music. It was, like I said, it was alternative, but we had one song that was heavy, and I was like, I want to do more of that, but it's not her style. So I was like, I'm going to start me and the bassist of that band, we kind of broke off and started our own project. And the name, we had stage names. Because the one thing, like, when I wanted to start doing the music thing, I always wanted to be like a character. You know what I mean? Because I was
'Cause
inspired.
some people are.
Yeah.
Some people, it is a whole thing, and they
Yeah.
are very different.
Oh yeah, I'm one of
If
those
you
people.
see them on the streets and stuff, like
Oh yeah, I'm one of those people. That's what I love. I love the idea of when you go to a show. It's not just I'm gonna go see people. It's like I'm going to an event. It's like something outside of, I don't say reality, but something you step outside of your own reality, and it becomes a. Because when you go to a music show, you want to forget about all your troubles, you want to forget about all your worries, and you want to be transported somewhere else. So, growing up, loving Marilyn Manson, Slipknot, Buckethead, things like that, those are my inspirations. Where I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be larger than life, and so I did a whole mask thing, and my stage name was Faceless at the time, right? So the bassist that I got from Mannequin on the Moon, I was talking to him about starting the band. His name was Rob. His stage name was Zombie Maker. So when we branched off, I got this idea of like, hey, well, what if we combine our names together? Zombie Face. So that's where Zombie Face came from.
dude, I love that.
But really, I just needed he didn't really do much for the band for Zombie Face. He was just somebody that I kind of bounced ideas off because I always need someone to bounce ideas off of because I have a head full of ideas, right? And
So do you think that's maybe really important is when you're in a band is maybe having that communication and stuff so you can bounce ideas off of? So it's not just like, okay, it's your band, but you're not the person making the only decisions, right?
Right. Yeah. That's because from the beginning, I've been with Zombie Face. I've been the one that determines, like, I write all the music, the imagery. I give each member their own, freedom, but the general ideas are mine. Like the story, the lore, all that shit's my idea. And but I've had some great musicians along the way. I had a drummer named Cody. He was like my right hand man, and he helped me out a lot with the image and the concept. He was just a really great friend, great coworker.
Great coworker.
Yeah, but yeah, it's sometimes like I just need someone to hear my ideas, right? And it's not even so much that I ask for input or opinions, but sometimes it helps.
Sometimes it's good just to be able to like bounce things.
Exactly, because otherwise I can just sit here by myself and just be like, all right, what do I? Because that goes with music too. Like when I write a song, I write every part. Like I write guitar, bass, drums, I write everything, and then I send it to the band members and say, here's my idea, change whatever you want.
See, that's cool. Okay, so it's not like we're gonna do it like this and just make it work.
No, sometimes they play
because there are bands.
Oh yeah,
dude, it's stressful, the thing is, and there's some things happening, and it's like.
But at this point, I could do that because, like, the people that know me, that know Zombie Face, they pretty much like I am Zombie Face. But I don't want to do that because I want Zombie Face to be an outlet for whoever's in it. So, like I said, sometimes they don't change a damn thing, and sometimes they don't keep anything. They change everything. Okay. And either way, even if I don't like it, I'll be like, hey, I don't really like that, but if that's what you want to keep, we'll make it work. And then sometimes it comes out better, So
so communication is a skill to have if you want to start a band. Because I always ask people like, what advice would you give to like the new person? Right.
Well, the new person in the band, you still got to pay your dues, So because like the current lineup of Zombie Face is it's 4 guys that I know, 3 guys that I know and 1 guy that I just met, right? But the guy that I just met, he's a really good guitarist, and I'm kind of like, all right, well, you still got to kind of rein it in a little bit because this is what we're doing. But yeah, if it depends on what kind of band you're running, because like it's Zombie Face, it's not Rick and the Zombies, right? Yeah. So if you're running like a Marilyn Manson type project, then no, it's all about the main guy. And for the longest time, when we first started, I was just a guitarist. I wasn't even the vocalist, and I wore a mask. I did a whole costume. I didn't, I wasn't the front man. I still did all the work. I wrote everything, but I didn't want to be the front man because I was shy.
That is so a trending thing? I'm starting to find out. Anxiety disorder, social anxiety, people that are super introverted, and are shy are all in rock bands, and you guys are rock stars.
I think it's because it's an outlet. It's kind of like stand-up comedy. Like if you kind of put on a mask to entertain, and if people for whatever reason hate it, they're like, oh well, they don't hate me. They hate the mask I put on. But the downside to that is if they love it, they don't love you. they love the mask you have on.
Do you think people maybe forget sometimes, like that you guys are just people, right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, all the time.
because you guys are rock stars, but you guys are also people too,
Yeah.
and
Well,
have a life. And
yeah,
most everybody so far that I've interviewed has day jobs, right? Or they're in school, or like they have a whole life besides just.
Well,
being
then
in
I'm the exception. I'm unemployed.
I don't know how you could be employed being in 5 bands, honestly.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
don't know
what
how
it is.
you even could.
I'm a full-time rock star. That's my job.
My sound guy's like throwing his hands up like, no, I don't.
No, it's just balance. You know, you got to try to find balance and
you're in a relationship, and you have a kid and a new apartment. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy shit!
It's crazy right now. I'm barely making it, but you know.
Dude,
but I think that's where
everybody. I swear to God,
that's where the I feel like the anxiety that you're talking about. That's where it all comes from. Is this? We live in really uncertain times, so because of that, you're like, what? You know, how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay the car? You know, with everything going up except our wages, we want that escape. We want that, you know, like to forget all of our problems at least for a couple hours, right?
At least, because I ask that usually, like, do you consider music being like healing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like a
for sure. It's an art that I think anybody can. I mean, everybody has their taste, right? Like anything else. But there's this quote that I love. I forget who said it. That like they said, painting, you know, a picture is how you decorate space, but music is how you decorate time. And that's what I've dedicated myself to, is decorating time.
That's good.
So, you know, and I try to make it like the music that I make with Zombie Face. It's heavy, it's aggressive, because I think as a genre, just the rock and roll umbrella that comes with heavy metal, thrash metal, anything. That umbrella is about aggression. It's about aggression, but in a healthy way is the idea.
Well, I noticed. So I was at BFE Saturday. A lot of moshing was going on. So I think a lot of people have some aggression that they currently need to get out. Because Kerosene Shores was playing, and they're like, I was like, bro, okay, this is like a whole thing right now.
Moshing is technically dancing if you think about it, but moshing it's safer than it looks. Because like when I first started going to concerts, you know, I was like, man, someone's gonna punch me or something. And now, be surprised, because I was moshing, and then
someone's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, no, I was moshing and I fell, right. And as I saw the ground coming up, I was like, that's it, I'm gonna die. This is how I die. And I bullshit you not, I did not touch the ground. Like,
did someone catch you?
Everybody caught me and threw me back up, and I was like, oh wow. And I weigh between 100 and 800 pounds, somewhere in there. So. And they got me. They got my ass. So it's a lot safer than it looks. Now there is crowd killing, and those guys are just fucking it up for everybody. Those are the guys that swing their arms and swing their feet. And
yeah, see, I didn't see any of that, but it was like a lot of.
That's frowned upon.
I was like, wow, this is super. It was cool. It was cool. The mom and me was coming out, so someone's gonna get hurt. But it was cool.
I'm older, so I just kind of like back up.
Yeah, no, I was definitely.
When I go to shows, I'm actually very, very quiet and very low. You know.
Do you go out and support?
I try to.
If you have time off, do you go to shows?
I try to. It's just before I was in Channelview, so I was kind of like really far away from everything. And here now I'm in Pasadena. I'm down the street from Winners. Scout Bar is 15 minutes away. BFE is still a bit of a drive. But
yeah, that's a common. Okay, so it's a common thing on the podcast. I like to call it the North and South Divide, because I have not come up with a more creative name than that. Because it seems to me that I see a lot of people play at Scout Bar, but then I don't see them play anywhere else.
Right.
And there's all these bands that play on the North Side
that don't play in Scout Bar.
That don't play at Scout, and I totally understand the drive. Yeah. Sucks.
Well, it's because,
but still,
Houston doesn't really have a unified music scene, and like for example
and how do we get it?
Well, that's the problem, is because a lot of people, and
my $1 million question, and why I started this podcast. Like, how do we make people be nice and get along and support each other?
Open-mindedness, because a lot of the people, like, you know, the White Swan. Yeah. I'm the booker there.
Are you really?
Yeah. So the kids that go to White Swan shows, they would not go to Scout Bar shows. Well, obviously depends on the band, right? But for the most part.
The kids that threw the pig head, I did meet them in the parking lot of Winters.
Nice.
After
I booked that show.
After that happened, I actually saw them, and yes, I got to see the pig head.
Nice. Yeah, I booked that show, and people were asking me quick, because I also run the White Swan Facebook, by the way. So I'm also a booker.
Okay.
So yeah, they asked me about it. Like, did you allow that? I was like, hey, I didn't know anything about it. Like,
No, he is not responsible for what
no,
other
I'm not.
people do.
I just booked the shows, man. But no, we don't have a unified music scene like from what I hear, Austin. Like Austin, you got 6th Street, and that's where all the music venues and shit are. I've never been. Nice, I have. But I don't know. But I know Houston, we're not really, we're all scattered everywhere, all across town, and that's a big issue. But there's not really much you can do about that because Houston is such a giant city.
It is. It's so big.
Yeah.
And with places closing, it really also hurts too, right? Because it's like 19th hole BFE.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's some places downtown that are doing open mics and stuff now, and then like Scout and Winters and that Iron Horse right next to
Scout.
Right next to Scout.
Yeah.
So.
And then they got Warehouse Live.
Warehouse Live.
It's pretty much all over the place. Yeah, I played at all those places though.
Have you? Is there any place you haven't played that you'd like to play?
House of Blues.
House of Blues.
House of Blues would be nice.
House of Blues, you need to get in my DMs and let's do like a support local music night
even
or
with
something
the
where
tributes.
they fill that place with like local bands. That would be super dope.
That would be cool, but they have to make some money. That's all. It all revolves around money. Unfortunately.
What do you think about social media? Do you think it helps or hurts?
It's like anything else. It's a tool. So it depends on how you use it. Like social media is perfect for promoting, being transparent with your fans, supporters. But at the same time, people don't take disagreements very well these days, to put it lightly. And I've seen friendships end over disagreements. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like a car. A car, you can go places now. Like, yeah, but you can also run people over.
Yeah.
So it's about how you use it. And then nowadays it's even more so because now you can't just be a musician. You have to be a content creator now. So it's not just about making music and posting it. Now you got to make TikToks and.
Well, I was going to ask that. Do all the bands have Instagrams and TikToks?
All my bands have Facebook and Instagram. I think only Spiritus and I know Zombie Face has a TikTok, but I don't. It's just basically my personal TikTok, but I never use it because I'm not in with the cool kids. I don't know. I don't know how to work TikTok. I really don't. Like I see my kids can do these badass little editing and shit. I can't do anything.
I'm just still learning too, so don't feel bad. I'm
still
trying to figure it out.
No, I'm not. I don't feel bad at all.
Okay, I'm really trying to figure it out.
These kids they had different experiences. It's all. I mean, we live the same life. It's just different experiences. Like we saw the rise and fall of the CD.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this about me. My dad was a DJ in nightclubs for a long time. So I actually still remember when DJing was on vinyl records in clubs. Oh my God.
So I remember having cassettes.
Just aged myself so bad. And then they went into CDs. And then I remember when the first computers came out and it was like, it took them like a month to upload all this shit onto a computer, right?
Back then the internet was a place in the house. Like if you want to get on the internet, you have to go to a specific corner of the house where the computer is, and
you couldn't even like sneakily do it because of how loud it was.
Yeah, and your mom would pick up the phone and like, you're like, get off the computer. I gotta use. See those are things these kids are never gonna know, man.
No, they have no idea, dude.
Because we're the generation in between two generations. The one before us didn't have this kind of technology, and the one after us has never known life without it. So we're caught in the middle. We're a transitional generation. Dude, my older brother had a pager, and I thought it was the coolest fucking thing.
Oh my goodness, so crazy.
I didn't get a cell phone until I was 22, and my girlfriend at the time taught me how to text. I didn't get it. And back then, you
actually had to push all the buttons and go through the whole alphabet.
Well, it was because you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then each one had 3 letters. So the 5, I don't know if you remember, the 5 had a little nipple on it, right? So you could feel it, right? So I bullshit you not. I learned how to text with the phone in my pocket. You can't.
Based on the 5. That's probably why they have that there.
Yeah, that's exactly why. That's why I'd be at work and just like I'm visualizing the phone and I'm texting like when it's in my pocket. Like, you can't do that now, But at the same time, when these touchscreens came out, I was amazed. I was like, this is incredible. Like I had that app where it's literally just like a beer. And you do that, it looks like you're drinking. I was like, wow, I did that for hours, dude. I was like, that's amazing, Mom. Look at this.
Yeah, when iPhones came out, it was like, there's an app for that. And there really was.
Yeah, that was
there's a
slogan,
fucking app for everything. And I love it. Okay, so you do bookings. I just do promote too.
Yeah.
or booking? Is that like the same thing?
Well, the people that book the
Is that
shows,
separate things?
they
I just recently found out that that's like a whole job.
oh yeah,
that-
promoting, yeah,
That's a whole job
it's a whole nother job.
that like totally blows my mind.
Yeah.
That like we live in this world of technology and stuff, and people are
It's easier than ever.
depending on someone else to
Yeah.
do those things for them.
It's easier than ever, but that's also a crutch because back in the day, you would have to print out flyers and go out and post them. And
Yeah, like street teams and shit.
yeah. But now you
like,
can just do it
that's big.
online. But the problem with that is that when the supply is high and so is the demand, then you become washed away in the sea of other flyers. You know
Well,
what I mean?
right, because like you create an event on Facebook. I do it for my markets,
Right.
and I'm really just kind of starting to do it because I'm like, what's the point? Because there's like 1,000 other events going on
At the same time, yeah.
at the same time.
Right. But here's the thing: I'm not going to invite somebody who's going to a quiet jazz evening. I'm not going to invite them to a zombie face show.
Yeah, probably.
So that's the thing.
wouldn't,
There's a lot of avenues out there, but if you pick yours and work on yours, you're unstoppable.
Can
know?
you get into venues without a promoter and a booker
harder.
or a manager? Like y'all have a manager too? Like
Well,
someone
I do
that's-
everything.
Okay,
I
so
handle
just
everything.
you. Okay.
It's more about the connections you make, really. Like for Zombie Face, I kind of just talk because it's the promoters that put on shows because they're the ones that take the risk. They're the ones that put up the cash. But sometimes I talk directly to the owners, and because they have a booking agent, you know. Because one thing I've learned is, like, as a booker myself, I get asked a lot of questions, like when people want to book shows and like, hey, is there a show already on that needs bands? I'm like, I really don't know because, you know, I have so many shows. I can't really go to each one. Hey, do you need a band? Do you need a band? Do you need a band? So going to the booker and asking, hey, can you put me on a show is not always the best route because.
Okay, so open mics. Do you think people should go to them? Like, if someone's watching this and they've self-taught themselves to play guitar and they're into singing, but they don't have a band and they don't know how to get one, I guess. I don't know if you trust Craigslist anymore to do that.
I don't know. I haven't checked
should
Craigslist in so long.
Should they go to open mics and network? Like, how do you?
That's how I started. Well, that's how we started with well, that's the thing, because Mannequin on the Moon, I found it through Craigslist, right? But at first, all we did was open mics. We would go and it's kind of like a glorified practice, but you never know who's in attendance. So I think open mic nights are great for networking. And if you're brand new into the scene, that's the best way to go about it, is to network, you know, and meet people. You know, it takes time, right? Meet people, see if you can hang out at their practices and just kind of watch, see how this band does things, make connections. Like, hey, you know, I'm trying to start something up, or just to not even to start a band, just to
meet people,
and to play instruments, to see if you have it in you to be in a band. Because like I said, I was very self-conscious about my guitar playing, and that's why I didn't start, you know, doing the music thing till I was like 26. So that's why when I see bands like Garbage Girlfriend, I'm like, damn, that's my biggest regret, is that I waited so long to get into it. So I think it's great when, you know, you see these kids.
My son. When my son comes down, and he'll be here at the end of October. You two, I think, would get along because he has self-taught himself how to play instruments, but he's also super shy.
Right.
And like wants to get into music.
I kind of grew out of it. So it's one of those things where, like, the way
you two up together.
The way I confront my fears is to just like dive head first.
Just do it?
Yeah. Like, I'm scared of snakes. A friend of mine had a boa constrictor, and I was like, let me wrap it around my neck.
Did you really?
Yeah. Not just because I'm scared of snakes. So
is there a picture of that? Can we post it?
Hell yeah, I'll find it right now. But yeah, that's just kind of how I do things. So like, I was always the guitarist and I was always self-conscious about people listening to my music, right? But over time, when I started seeing people that, you know, dig it and headbang to it, I was like, oh, I can do this. So
do you think your inspiration though where did it come from?
Just like those theatrical bands, and then just kind of, I don't know, I kind of wanted to be like
were you a writer and stuff? Like, did you maybe like
not really
poetry or
not even
down notes or any of that
I mean, I would write songs and poems and shit, but as far as like, because I wouldn't know how to write music, I would just play it until, you know, I find something I like. But eventually I kind of started to get a knack for it, and I kind of started learning how to write music. I'll hear a melody in my head and I'll try to transcribe it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Because I asked that because I don't know what that process is like, right? Do people journal or write, and then they're like, oh, we need to come up with a melody for it? Or do you guys hear a melody in your head and then you're trying to match words to it?
It works both ways because
I'm telling you, musicians' brains and like non-musicians' brains are like not the same. Are you kidding me?
Serious. I was terrified.
Look at you. You don't have a beard either.
No, this is almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do it. I'm not even gonna say what bug I'm afraid of, but I could not, dude. I could not.
No, that's just how I. So one of the reasons I wore a mask was because I was self-conscious, and it just kind of became my whole gimmick, my whole shtick. So when I took over his vocals, I had to take the mask off so I could sing, and then my confidence just kind of
just boosted,
and I got more comfortable with my own skin. Then I got divorced. That helped. That helped my confidence. Okay. But it
happens like that sometimes.
Yeah, no,
men can have glow ups too. Okay, men can have glow ups.
You're not unhappy. You just need a divorce. Don't quote me on that. No,
this is not legal advice.
No, it's not legal advice.
It's not legal advice.
No, it was a rough transition. No, but a lot of times I'll just play guitar and I'll come up with something right there. And the thing is, what people don't realize is that vocals and lyrics are two different things. Lyrics are the words you're saying. The vocals are how you say it. So I'll hear the melody and I'll play it back over and over and over, and I'll hum something on top of it that I think would, fit melody. Once I have a melody, I'm like, all right, that's 8 syllables. So whatever I write's got to have 8 syllables, and then, yeah, exactly. So like I'll hear the song, I'm like da 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 da. I'm like, all right, that's just kind of how it works. And then I'll have lyrics, and I'll be like, all right, I like these lines, but they're too long. I gotta chop them up. So that's how I do it. I don't know how other people do it. But I find it harder to write to someone else's music, someone else that already has a riff in mind. Because with Manic on the Moon, Eliza had one riff that she had, and she's like, what do you think of this riff? And she played it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to write a whole song based on that riff. And I struggled with that song a lot because it's not my idea. It wasn't my original idea. And the guitar solo that I had on there, I actually wrote it on stage over the course of several shows. So we'd get to a certain part, and I would just start like freestyling, like noodling, just freestyling. And the next day I'd go back and watch the video, and I'll be like, all right, I like that, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. Next show, I played the part that I liked, then freestyled again. Then I was like, all right, I like that, didn't like that, didn't like that. So over the course of like 4 shows, I wrote a whole solo, like on stage, basically.
That's really cool.
It's just, it's when you, like I said, I took guitar very seriously, like super seriously, and like too seriously. And then I learned how to kind of like dial it back and just take it easy. Like, this is supposed to be fun. Don't treat it like it's, But that discipline kind of helped me out a lot. And I'm not some amazing shredder now, right? But it just made me fall in love with guitar more.
That's
and
cool.
That's what I love doing is guitar. I love guitar more than singing. But
okay, so wait a minute. You've been doing this for so long. Do you get invited to the SLMs for all the bands?
Oh yeah,
for all the bands. How does that work? So are you having to like run around and jump into different characters when you guys are in the SLMs?
Funny story. In 2021, I believe we performed at SLM. 2018, we won Best Live Performance. 2021, we performed. So
shout out to Dantino.
Dantino. Yeah. So I did his podcast too. But
dude, I was like,
did you ever see that podcast?
I have seen it.
Okay, it's a expose. Mm-hmm. It's not really friendly. But it's great. I had a lot of fun. But it's things like that taught me that, okay, I know how to talk. I know how to, like, that's what made my confidence grow, being a front man. And like the tributes helped me because I'm more comfortable guiding a crowd, talking to people, talking to kids. Like the kids, like when I say kids, like 20, 21, 22, right. Like they love this shit. And I'm like, I love performing for them because they're so energetic.
Because they know it, right? And here goes back to technology.
Yeah.
Fucking tickety tax.
Yeah. My thing is, I wanted to be a band.
They think they're new songs. They're not. They're old songs.
No, they're old songs.
They're old songs.
I wanted Zombie Face to be a band that when I was 15, I would think it was awesome. Yeah. So I know damn well if 15-year-old me were to see Zombie Face, I'd be like, dude, that's the best fucking band I've ever seen. And that's who I'm trying to impress. I'm trying to impress the past me. And whoever gets impressed along the way, hey man, I love it. I love all our fans, all our supporters.
Are you cool with people like coming up to you after the show and like engaging with you?
Dude, I love it.
Or
I love it.
like,
no, because you're only a rock star. You're only a rock star on stage, and that's another thing I've learned because I grew up watching wrestling. Okay. Is there's a thing called kayfabe where you're a character, right? But
Wait, are you trying to say that wrestling's not real? Is
No,
that what you're
I'm
trying
not
to
saying
say
that.
right
I'm
now?
not saying that at all. I'm not. Undertaker and Kane are definitely brothers from Death Valley. No, what I mean is like is you to be able to interact with fans and be this character, but at the same time, you have your real persona. It's not being fake. It's we're entertainers. Because I'm a musician, I'm an artist, whatever, rock star, whatever. But I think first and foremost, I'm an entertainer. That's my priority.
Because you want to put on a show, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what people want to see.
Exactly.
If they're going to actually come out of their house and drive, pay
yeah.
money,
Now
I've said see a show.
I've said this 100,000 times, but like my philosophy with performing is if you want to hear my music, you can do that at home with Spotify or anything, right? If you come to a show, you want to see something. So I don't want to put on a show that like I've seen bands where the band members are regular guys, nothing wrong with that, where a guy will start shredding for like 5 minutes straight, but just standing there like that. I'm like, all right, you're only going to impress other guitarists. My thing is the reason I was so self-conscious because I had a friend that grew up with me who played guitar a year before I did. So he was like way better than me. So anything that I as good as I got, I was like, he's better. So, and that was the standard for me. So that put me down. I put myself down like an idiot.
Wait, I like that. Like an idiot, right? Positive affirmations, people. Positive affirmations.
Well, I mean, the only thing wrong with being wrong is staying wrong. So, to be idiotic doesn't make you an idiot per se, but it's just, it's like we say ignorant. Ignorance is not really a bad thing. It just means you don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah, you can change that. You can heal from that. So, the day I decided that I'm not trying to impress, I'm trying to entertain. That's when my confidence, that's when it came in. If you go out there and have fun with it, you mess up, that's fine. But to play without soul, it just becomes, like I played real sloppy, sometimes, and all that stuff just adds to it. It's supposed to be like nasty. It's supposed to be if you got it too processed, then you got computer music, and that's just no. It's little blemishes like that gives it personality. I think. I mean, some people are perfectionists, and that's them. To each their own. You can't tell Da Vinci how to paint, right?
Well, and I love it. You said computer music. So I'm gonna ask this. You know how the Buzz does the whole like hometown heroes stuff? I think they do it like twice a year. They do it another time too.
Yeah.
Do you think people are making music just to maybe submit to that so they can get played on the radio, but that's really not what they sound like when you see some of the rest of their music?
Well, it could be just a way to put bait, it could be, but it depends on how you view music. Some people view music as art. Some people view it as a product. Now, the reason why you can name a metal song from the 80s, the 90s that still jams today, and pop songs come and go, is because pop songs are products. Those are not meant to be, well, that's my interpretation of it, right? Those are written, processed, formulated by the record labels, companies, writers, and they sell the songs to the artists, right? So when the Beatles came out, that was a big deal because they wrote their own music, which it sounds so commonplace now, but at the time that was a big deal because, and with metal and rock and stuff like that, and other genres too, it's an expression. It's whereas these pop songs, I'm talking about the pop songs are like party, drink. I'm so 2008, you're so 2000 late. Like you just put a date on their fucking song. Yeah. Now it's stuck in that era forever. Ghost did it recently with their new song. They said 2024. I'm like, good job. Now what are you gonna do next year? Yeah. But with music, if you interpret it as art and you get to really enjoy the aspects of it, granted, there's people that listen to heavy metal and rock and don't look at it as, don't dissect it, but that's for each his own, right? The ear of the beholder. The ear of the beholder. There's not a right or wrong answer. No, there's not. Yeah, I'm just curious. It's just about how you might like spaghetti because it's good, and I like it because all the seasonings, it brings the taste of Italy and the parsley. Like, no, dude, it's just fucking spaghetti. So it really depends on how you interpret art. Like you've seen those modern arts where it's just like a white painting with a red mark. Yeah. And you're like, wow, that's Like, wow,
I could have done that, I guess.
Exactly, but what it means to you is what it, and some people it seems snotty when they're like, oh, it speaks to me, and that's just the way they interpret it, and they want to spend $50,000 on a painting of a red line, but also that's money laundering. It's a whole money laundering scheme. So don't quote me on that. That's a rumor.
Stop, because I could go on a whole rant and it's not music related. That's funny. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
No, but my point is art is art, and if you don't like it, then it's just not for you. There's a lot of people that I respect in the scene that make music I don't like. and I don't tell them they suck or your music is garbage, because it's not.
Because that's what they like, right?
It's not.
That's
It's
their
not
thing.
I'm not the audience. You know what I mean? It's like people have told me, like, Rick, I love you. I love your drive. I love your passion for it. I just don't like the music, and I'm like, that's okay. I try to write music that's it's somewhere in the middle between too heavy and not heavy, because like the way people have described it to me is that Zombie Face is too heavy for people that don't listen to metal, but it's not heavy enough for people that do, because I throw in growls and screams and shit, but I also try to sing melodically. And sometimes successfully, sometimes not.
Well, and I think we have like, and I talk about this a bunch, that like genres kind of intermingle now and mix, right? Like let's look at like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It was very country, pop,
This is this,
emo,
that is that.
it was rock. Like it was very, and then fucking Taylor Swift decided to like, cross over and do some things. And now Beyonce is a country western singer.
Yeah, I've heard that rumor.
I swear to God, her people are going to eventually send me a cease and desist. She talks so much shit about her. Do you think... Okay, someone can say maybe they're an emo band, but if you maybe Google emo music, that's actually not what they're playing. They're playing something, if you were to Google pop music from the early 90s.
But emo is short for emotional. So that's something that you can't really dictate. Yeah, I can't just tell you, like, you can listen to gangster rap and be like, that's emo because it makes me feel a certain way. But the music genre is, the thing is, labels kind of narrow everything, narrow the definition, but you can call this thing whatever you want. It's a fucking candle. So really, it's just kind of like,
it could be just whatever.
It could be whatever, but you know what it is. And labels work like that for a reason, because you don't want to be put on a show, with Morbid Angel and then fucking Justin Bieber. Is he still relevant? I don't know. Who's the Justin Bieber of this generation?
I don't think we have one. I don't think we have one. I don't know.
I know they have like 3 or 4 Lil Kims now. It's they got Nicki Minaj.
I don't think Megan Thee Stallion.
Cardi B. Those are all reincarnations of Lil Kim. Don't quote me on that.
I think poor Justin Bieber.
That's what I'm saying. I want to be this. I want to be our generation's like Rob Zombie or something like that. Or that's kind of what I want to be. I want to be like, with Zombie Face, I want to be like Vince McMahon and P.T. Barnum, and just to put a show, make Zombie Face a spectacle, something, make it an event.
Could you guys travel? Is that a thing?
That's the motherfucker, because
we all travel. Like, okay, and when I ask that, I guess I need to break it down, right? So if a record company fell out of the sky and was like, bam, here's a great dollar amount, but you're going to have to travel and like you have to go tomorrow. Is that something you guys would even want to do?
It depends on what
like
the
weekend shows and maybe doing like Louisiana,
short term,
yeah, coming back.
Short term, nationally local, sure, but if the right deal comes along, I mean, that's the dream, isn't it?
Some people it's not.
No,
I asked that question, and I asked that question, and some people have absolutely no desire to do that.
Right. That's because the offer's not on the table
whatsoever. They're just
so
happy
the offer,
hanging out locally.
Yeah, but if you get a chance to get not just make money, but make a living off of doing what you love, of course you're going to take it.
That, right?
Yeah, and the fact that people, again, my perspective, people saying that no, I wouldn't want that at all, is the same reason I don't miss my son, because I don't have a son. You see, so you can't miss something you don't have. Yeah. So
that's good. I'm like,
that's just my way I look at things. But like, I don't push my views on anybody. That's just the way I look at it.
Isn't that the end goal, right? Like if you are a musician and you're in a band and you're doing a bunch of shows, and you're having to work a day job, I would just assume the end goal is to be able to quit your day job and just support your family off your music. Because I don't know how that works. Like, because you said you're on Spotify and all the things, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
But remember what I said about supply. No, remember what I said about supply and demand. When the supply is high and so is the demand, you're not making any money, because it's so easy to have your music on Spotify that now
can anybody just get on Spotify?
And we oversaturated the market. So there's so much music and so easy to get that when you release something, like albums are not the way to go anymore. If you release an album, you'll get a couple of listens to it, but then that's it. If you release singles, people will be hungry for the next one because they become like episodes, and that's how you keep people, invested. I think, because you got to evolve with the times. Because Spotify, they'd have to play your song 10 million times to get like a quarter.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
By you going to live shows and buying their merch, that's how they make their money.
Okay, because I asked that question too. Do you believe in merch?
Oh, definitely. No, you gotta have merch. You gotta have merch or just your music on some kind of CD. If your music's not digital, you gotta have
right?
T-shirts, CDs. Some people still do vinyls.
Some people do vinyls.
It's just there's not a market for. I don't think there's much of a market for it, but I could be wrong, of course. But merch is very important if you're trying to make money, even if you're not trying to make money, just to not put you in the hole. Because I've done shows out of town that paid shit, and every time, but I had such a great time, but it always put me back in the hole, like financially.
Because you're having to drive, like you guys are having to spend money on gas, and you have to eat, right? And you have to sleep somewhere. After
we get paid, I'll do the math. I'm like, no, I actually lost $100 on this to play this show, but I gained 5 fans. You know, and now when you look at it from a financial point of view and all your logic, because we like to think that we're logical people, you're like, this little hobby of yours is costing you fucking money. You know what I mean? So like whenever, so whenever I'm telling someone over the years when I was growing up and I would tell people, I play in bands and I do this, and I'm all like, someone's excited telling you about it, and then you're like, okay, well, how much do you make? And then you just bring the whole fucking mood down.
It's like I keep my business going.
Yeah, it makes me happy. That's because there's a love and hate relationship with music where you start off with an idea in your head, and then by the time you look up, you have people dancing to it, and that's one of the most surreal feelings ever. That for me, not to sound like some snotty musician, but to me, that's what it feels like. Because
he's totally not.
I'm not.
He's really not.
I'm not. I'm the shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm the Rick Stuart. Don't get me wrong. Nah, it's all a play, man. The world's a stage, baby. So. We want to be rock. We want to be seen as rock stars, so we got to be larger than life. And I know,
but you can be nice while you're doing it.
No, of course. Because without fans, without supporters, you ain't shit. So that's why everybody that wants to talk to me or take pictures with me after the show, even with the tributes, I stop what I'm doing and I'm like, dude, come on. And with Spiritus is one thing because I'm pretending to be this guy, right? Mm-hmm. But with Victims and Fake It, where I'm just me, and people still want to take pictures of me, like with me. I'm like, dude, that's a great feeling, And then with Zombie Face is the best feeling because tributes are fun, but there's a sense of pride and accomplishment with originals. When people have told me that my songs meant something to them. I have one song where I needed an excuse to scream because I was going through some shit when I wrote it. So there's a part of the song where all the music stops and it's just me screaming. And I'll let you listen to it later, but I needed that. And then, we played that song a couple times and somebody came up to me after the show and like, that one line you did where it was just you, that really spoke to me and it hit me in the chest. And I was like, dude, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's what I'm going for. And that's the best compliment you can give a musician, man, is your music saved me. Nah, your music hit me. But
it really does sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it does. Really does. But, a lot of times the effect that you have, you're not going to see. And I mean, that's...
So tell them. Don't be scared. They want to hear it. Tell them.
It's a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment.
They want to hear it.
I had this, I was at Acadia and I played a show, and with Zombie Face, I'm in a whole costume. It's a whole thing. And after the show, I go outside to smoke a cigarette, and there's this group of kids, again, 20-year-olds. Don't think I'm...
That's what I call them too, yeah.
Yeah, I'm at that age where I can say that. I'm not talking about 6 or 7-year-olds. Let's chill out.
If you're younger than 30, I'm probably calling you a kid at this point.
Damn, I'm not a kid. Well, your perspective changes.
Wait, how old are you?
Old enough. I'm between 20 and 80. So somewhere in there.
Okay, well, I'm 40. Am I the oldest person in this room? I know I'm older than him.
Oh, probably.
Oh, shit.
Damn. I'm not that far behind.
Damn.
36.
Oh, okay. See?
If I shave this, though, 12.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Him, too.
This is men's makeup. Without this, it's the equivalent of makeup. So I walked outside to smoke a cigarette, and there was these group of kids, these girls that were hanging around, and I heard one girl tell the other girl, "Go tell them." And I was like, "Okay, what the fuck is this about?" So a little girl, skinny little goth girl, that was adorable. She came up to me and she's like, "Hey, I think you're really cool." And I didn't even hesitate. I was like, "Oh, thanks. I think you're really cool." And her face just lit up, and I don't know, man, that made me feel really good because I'm like, I want to, like I said, I want to be. If I would have told my 15-year-old self that, I would have been ecstatic, and I feel like I want to be that. I want to inspire people. I want to inspire people to pick up, music and to express themselves with art. You know what I mean? I want to do more than just be some guy that plays music. You know what I mean? I want to be somebody, right? H-Town, be somebody.
That's
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be somebody. I want to be somebody to and when I went through my shit show, I had a horrible time, which on that podcast that we have, you'll see if you watch it. And I came out better from it. I came out stronger from it. Came out financially worse, but that's you can't win them all. But that's when I realized I want to be what I wish was there for me, right? So I want to be this. I want to be the our generation, our music scene's Rob Zombie. I guess he's not really. I'm not a big Rob Zombie fan, but his aesthetic or Ghost, that idea of like becoming this entity, and it sounds presumptuous, but it's what I'm trying to do. It's theater, and I want to be, and I want to inspire people, because for every person that I feel like I inspire through any means, whether it's music, comedy, or mental health stuff, whatever it is, if I change the way you feel about yourself in any way, preferably positive, I mean, if I'm, then that's what I want to do is I want to challenge the mind in a good way.
Well, and I think the thing we're not allowed to talk about is going to be really good.
Okay.
And when I think you start having some guests on, okay. I also think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it's not that we're not allowed to talk about it. No, I'm sorry. I have a. It's not. No, it's the other thing that I'm not allowed to say is the zombie face thing. No, we have. I started a mental health podcast with Morgan Sullivan of Kissing Judas. It's called The Unmasked Therapist, and we filmed a couple episodes, and they're editing it now. I haven't seen it, but the first episode I wanted it to be good, right? And Morgan kind of snuck on me, but she asked me about that period of my time in my life when I was going through shit. And I wasn't ready for it, but I was like, no, this is perfect. I'm going to show people what we're expecting this show to be, like how deep it gets, how
Rowdy
personal.
Made me cry. We had to take a whole 20-minute break when I interviewed Rowdy.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those guys were good friends of mine. I'm kind of have beef with two of them for some reason.
Oh.
One-sided.
Yes.
Actually, they probably don't care at this point. I don't care. They were good friends of mine, but that's other shit. I'm sure like in the future we'll be all right. If I see them in public, go, hey, what's up?
Funny,
man?
We should do a round table and have you guys just all sit down.
It's stupid shit. It's petty shit that blew up.
No, but, I think the podcast is important because I always ask, do you think music can heal and like touch people? And everyone unanimously says yes, but then we don't want to talk about those feelings, right? And
how do you solve it? How do you get through it?
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like for example,
you can't break the stigma on things if nobody's willing to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So because one of those things, because like I said, when you go to these things, you wanna escape from your problems. Yeah, I get that, but the only way you'll be able to confront it is to confront it, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? So, and that's the thing. Life is not always about being comfortable. And it's very true. I feel like if you're not learning, you're not living.
No, knowledge is power, dude. That definitely is the one thing that like no one can take from you.
Yeah.
Like what you have up here, nobody can ever take from you.
Yeah, and I've gathered a lot. I'm still learning every day, but I have like people that I look up to in the scene that that kind of, they're not really my mentors, but they kind of show me like, okay, what he's doing is kind of the route that I kind of want to go. And it's my perspective of these people. I could be like, well, this guy, and like, oh, that guy's an asshole. I'm like, all right, he's still somebody I look up to. You're not gonna take that away from me. And I'm talking about people like Chris Harding. I looked up to Chris Harding because I met him a long time ago. He never said two words to me, and now he's one of my best friends. Like, he's going to me. Shout out to Chris. He'll just come up to me and just kiss me on the cheek, and I'm like, yeah. People like Barry. Like Barry's is a huge role model for me. Those two guys.
Uncle Barry.
Yeah, they're like my creepy uncles. John Janash was he talked me through a lot of stuff too. Rest in peace. There's a lot of people I look up to that I kind of want to emulate, but be my own person. You know what I mean? I want to be somebody in the scene. And the thing about the scene is it has worth if we give it worth. The only reason a $50 bill is worth $50 is because we agree that it's $50.
Yep.
But like, for example, like SLM, when they do SLM and they do the voting, I always read people hating on it, saying that these awards don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, of course they don't physically mean anything, but if it means something to you, then
I was shocked. I won last year for Best Business.
We won Best Tribute.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that. The year that we won that.
I was shocked.
So if you give it worth, and plus, sometimes the reward is being recognized by your peers. When someone tells me that they recognize me from Zombie Face and I don't know who they are, like that's like, wow, that's crazy. Same thing when you recognize someone from a band and they love that feeling. So for the 2022 SLM Awards, on the day of, Zombie Face had a show across town. right? So I had to do that show.
Yeah.
So I got a friend of mine to dress up as Papa, and I told him, look, I told him, hey, look, man, you're probably not gonna have to do a speech or anything, right? But because the year before he went as he dressed up as Papa, and I went as myself. So there's a picture of me next to him.
Oh my
But
God, that's
yeah.
great.
So the next year I told him, hey, I need you to go and just pretend to be me and just hang around, you know. I was like, I really doubt we're gonna win, but if we do win, I was like, if we do win, just try to, you know, give this speech and be Italian. And then wouldn't you know, we fucking won. And I'm across town, and my friend, he had to go up on stage and accept the award. And I saw the video, and he did not do the accent at all.
That's how it was. So I did not think I was gonna win for my category. And I was
what is
like,
it, best small business?
Best business.
Okay.
Yeah, best local
Local
business.
business.
And so I was like networking and stuff, and I kind of hear Chris talking, and he like says my business name, and I just like wave at him because I'm like, I don't think I'm winning. I think he's like doing a shout out or something.
Right.
And so yeah, one of my friends had to go because he was like, get up here and get this.
Yeah, you didn't know you won.
No. And like people come running over there like, you won, and I'm like, what? I'm like what? Because I just did not think.
Right.
And it was cool. I love it because I spent 2 years getting to see everybody's pictures, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's
you
our own
literally
little.
get to see. This is like the.
It's
event.
like our Grammys or our whatever.
It really is because
whatever the music equivalent of the award show is.
Look, I've been to some shows and I get the whole rock star grungy thing. It's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I see you guys at the SLMs, it's like, holy,
It's wild, right? Yeah.
y'all are like GQ'd the fuck out.
Right. Well, I've gone in full makeup, so
it is a whole vibe. It's fun. I'm excited that we're like
Yeah.
coming into that season. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know I couldn't go last year because it fell on the day of my daughter's quinceañera. Like, my daughter turned 15 that day, and I was like, out of all the birthdays,
no, can't go.
yeah. But I didn't win anything that year, so
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun time.
yeah. I think I'm up for Silliest Goose. I keep telling Dontino that every year, like, put an award Silliest Goose and just make me the only nominee.
Dude,
He still hasn't, man, but if he does,
dude, we'll just DM him. I'll be like,
no, I've told him before.
We'll just get a bunch of people to nominate him and flood his DMs. He's gonna hate me so
Silly.
much.
If I win Silliest Goose, man, that'd be great.
He's gonna hate me so much.
That would be
Dude,
great.
this has been fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
This has been so much fun. Do you want to do shout outs or is
No,
there
fuck
anything?
everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Shout out to you watching this.
People always forget somebody anyways. So this has been super cool. I'm so happy that we did this.
Thank you. I'm glad
I'm
y'all
super
came out.
excited about next Wednesday now. Like
Yeah.
I was, but
I hope
This'll be cool.
I hope we have a good turnout, man, because it's a Wednesday, and
it's Wednesday.
Wednesdays are my brokest days. So
It's a Wednesday.
yeah.
It should
No, but
be.
you know, I asked Chris and Barry to help us get, you know, into Scout, because we haven't played Scout in a while, so this is a
We're
blessing.
doing it. It's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, and we'll see you there, right? Because you're
Yeah, I'll be
cool.
vending.
What do you vend?
So I sell candles.
Candles.
So in my extra, yeah.
Really? Tell me more.
So funny. You probably would not burn them. It's
Okay.
literally a joke at this point. So I started a candle company. And originally they were in glasses and like fun shot glasses and bar glasses. And then I started getting into like skulls. I think I have probably 15 different candles now. Most of them are like skulls and coffins. My middle finger one is the most popular one.
Are they scented or just?
They are not.
They're not. Okay.
Because people don't burn them. You can get
No
them
shit.
scented.
Okay.
I have scents that I play with. I have poured them with sterling silver charms in the center of them to encourage burning. And people literally are like,
$50 bill inside.
it's too pretty.
Right.
Which I love.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a joke. I'm like, I started a candle company with no repeat customers because
Well, why don't
nobody
you,
will burn them.
Like, as a gimmick, don't put a wick.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Because I'm
literally about to stop doing it.
So this is-
I
this is
don't
gonna sound-
know why I do it anymore.
This is gonna sound pretentious as hell,
I don't
right?
know why I do it.
This is gonna sound pretentious as hell. I found a candle without a wick, and in my little artist mind, I was like, man, imagine the thing that you're never gonna burn out, but it's because you're never gonna live your full potential because you don't have a wick. And I was like, damn, that was lame.
Put that on my
Well, there you
business
go.
card.
Put that on your business card.
And I have I do wax melts now. And then I sell some weird, I have animal bones and stuff like that and pins and shit. So that's usually what I do is just my candles. And
That's cool.
enjoy the show and help Chris with his merch table.
That's awesome. That's you're doing your own thing.
So
Do you plan to expand on it, or is just
no? I mean, eventually, I'd love to have a brick and mortar. That's the end game for sure. And I host markets now too. So
right
once a month, at the end of the month, I host markets. So that's pretty cool. I've outgrown my space and am now in a bigger space. So it's cool.
Oh, definitely. When you watch your project grow like that, it's a good
it's
feeling.
Cool. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of nervous about it.
Nah, you'll be fine as long as you keep your eye on the prize.
It's growing.
Because I've had many not opportunities, but many chances where this project could have failed, and I'm like, that's it. I'm just gonna call it quits. But every time I have to start over, it just kind of gives me more of a resolve. Like I said, I took a year off so far, and I had to build it back up from scratch.
And honestly, Chris and Sabrina have been really great mentors for me. I knew Chris before I started my business. And then he just he let me vend at a few shows at Scout. And then I'm there all the time. You know what I mean?
Every time he sees me, he's like,
yes.
I love Chris.
And it's really I know our scene isn't united and it's splits and it's weird. And I wish there was some way we could fix it because literally, so when I won the SLM, I did not think I was going to win. And I actually went to Chris and I was like, did you guys rig it or something? That's what I said. I was like,
well, you gotta.
I was like, did you rig it? And he literally, this is what he said. He looked at me and he was like, if you win, we win.
So hell yeah, we rigged it.
We're family. Yeah, he probably did.
He's like, hell yeah, we rigged it. That was
the nice way of saying it.
We rigged the shit out of it.
No, and I was like, what? And he was like, bitch, we're family.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're in the scene together. He was like, so if you're winning, he's like, we're all winning.
Was it the high tide raises all ships?
Yeah, I was like, so it's okay to support your friends when they're winning.
Oh yeah.
Even if you're not there, you know what I mean?
That's
you'll totally get there. I think you'll get there.
One thing that people complain about, well, not complain, but bitch about SLM awards that you're pitting bands against each other, and it's really not really, because again, it's just to be, if this band wins best local fucking performance and this band didn't, then it's that doesn't mean this band is inherently better than this one. It's just that this one happened to get more votes, right? And like they said, yeah, I think
it's fun. It's I think fun competition because it gives you guys all something to strive for next year, right?
Exactly.
Okay, we're gonna amp up our
That's the idea. That's why when people say that these awards don't mean nothing, we're just a waste of time, I'm like, dude, no, this is you have to give it worth.
They do mean stuff to some people.
It means
they surely do.
Because it's recognition.
Even fans just getting to see the pictures, see they get posted. Dude, seriously.
When I first started, man, just hearing someone else say Zombie Face made me like, oh wow, it's real. So to win an award for it, even if it's just amongst your own peers, dude, stop. Let people have fun, man. Yes. Let people enjoy things. What the fuck?
It is. It's fine.
If you want to be miserable over there.
We do not hand out participation awards, okay?
Unless it's silly as goose.
Gets an award.
Unless it's silly as goose, then they're all participation ribbons. Ribbons. That's all you get.
I love it. The sashes for the models.
Yeah. It says almost.
Dude, I love it. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Of course, anytime.
No shout outs because fuck everybody.
Fuck everybody.
So, fuck everybody.
Especially you who's watching this right now. No, you know who I'm talking to. Fuck you.
Fuck you for not liking and subscribing to this.
Hey, I like and subscribe.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and I will have all the social media links for everything in the bio. Bye.